accurate, and reliable, and voted Outstanding News Operation of the Year. This is News Channel 12 at 6.
We're tracking the tropics. A tropical depression forms in the Atlantic. We tell you what to expect.
And a teen charged as an adult. A judge says a 14-year-old boy charged in a triple murder case will face murder charges as an adult. Good evening. I'm Wes Goforth.
And I'm Valentina Wilson. Welcome to News Channel 12 at 6.
First tonight, we have a developing story to tell you about a crash that happened about 4 o'clock this afternoon. A deadly wreck shut down part of Highway 43 for a time. In fact, it's still shut down tonight. This crash again about 4 this afternoon, and that is south of Chicad, near the Chicad School. And we have confirmed that there's one fatality in that crash tonight. Troopers are not releasing the victim's name until they notify relatives. Now, another person was taken by Eastern Pines EMS to Vidant Medical Center. We're just getting this video into the newsroom from the scene tonight. We're working to get you more information. We'll get it to you as we receive it.
A judge decides there is enough probable cause to charge a 14-year-old as an adult in the murders of 3 convenience store workers. But first, a quick backstory here. Those shootings happened in April at the Hustle Mart in Farmville. You're looking at the surveillance video. Police say 3 men and the juvenile entered the store and shot 3 store employees. The victims, who were cousins, died. Today, the judge said the juvenile in the case will be tried as an adult. News Channel 12's Mike Valerio is live in Greenville with more facts.
Well, Val, it's very unusual to charge a 14-year-old as an adult in this case, and I just wrapped up a long conversation with Captain Paula Dance, who handles all of the major crimes here in Pitt County, and she said that these upgrade in charges is exactly what the victim's family would want. So we're going to roll some video to bring you back to that day in April. Here's what's the big deal about being charged as an adult. This 14-year-old can now be sentenced to life in prison. He's under 18, so there is no way under North Carolina law he can get the death penalty. The judge in this case decided to up the charges because the judge simply believes that the kid we're talking about knew what he was doing that night, acting with malicious intent. Take a listen to what Captain Dance had to say about that.
You're looking at the circumstances and the totality of what went on. We're talking about people with guns going into stores and just killing innocent people just for the self-gratification of getting money.
Days. So coming up at 10 o'clock on Fox and 11 o'clock on ABC, we're going to have a full wrap of this interview. Put this in perspective, this 14-year-old again being charged as an adult in these horrific murders and shootings in Farmville. For now, we are live in Greenville. Mike Valerio, News Channel 12.
And Mike, we know that authorities have still not released that juvenile's name. The other suspects in the case face the death penalty.
We're keeping an eye on the tropics tonight, alerting you to any changes in that system that could be named by the end of this week. Skip Waters is in the Storm Track 12 Weather Center watching it all.
A wave that became Tropical Depression number 5 this afternoon. Hurricane models pretty persistent in pushing this toward the west. A couple models bending it slightly more toward the north, but at this point it looks like its primary impacts will be through the Caribbean into the Gulf. But you know what? There's another wave coming off the west coast of Africa behind that one, and I think for the next 60 days, 2 months, we're going to have to keep our eye to the tropics because conditions are definitely becoming more favorable for tropical development.
Large crowds turned out in support of Chick-fil-A Day. The fast food chain has faced criticism over comments recently from its corporate president about gay marriage. And News Channel 12's John Erickson is live at Chick-fil-A in New Bern tonight. What's going on, John?
Wes, the scene behind me here right now, much the same as it has been throughout the day. A long line throughout the door, a lot of people waiting to get inside. So just what is going on? Well, you could call it a culture war waged with a chicken sandwich. The broader issue, the definition of marriage. Thousands of people here voting with their feet. And on Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day, let me tell you what, Chick-fil-A feels appreciated. Their business today doubled. A very passionate lunch crowd, with a line winding out the door, cars around the block, and singing. They're selling so much food today, they've had to order in extra waffle fries, extra buns. They expect that by closing time at 10 o'clock, they'll probably run out of that famous chicken sandwich. What does the other side have to say? Well, no one has been here today or at other locations that we are aware of, and we've been here and at Greenville at least, voicing an opinion against Chick-fil-A. However, protesters do plan to be out around the country, perhaps here on Friday, voicing their own side. For now, we're live in New Bern. John Erickson, News Channel 12.
All right, the beat goes on, John. We know that police were on hand, in fact, at the Jacksonville Chick-fil-A location today to help with crowd control there. Well, we're learning more tonight about a push to help thousands of Camp Lejeune veterans and their families sickened by contaminated water on base.
The U.S. House yesterday approved the Caring for Camp Lejeune Veterans Act of 2012. It would provide health care to victims who became ill from contaminated water at the base from 1957 to 1987. That bill now awaits only the president's signature. News Channel 12's Christy Andrews gets local reaction. She's live in the newsroom.
Val, hundreds of thousands of Lejeune residents were affected by the bill in that 30-year period. Now today I spoke with one of them, a man who tells me he was born on the base, and he also says that this bill is long overdue.
I watched him, my father just staring off into space sometimes. And my mother shaking so hard she couldn't even hold her hand.
It's an emotional memory for Stephen Carter as he talks about his parents' struggle with Parkinson's disease.
They probably would have lived a little bit longer.
Now, I also reached out to the Marine Corps today to get its response on the bill. The media officer there tells me that if the bill is signed into law, that it will have the Marine Corps' appreciation. Reporting live in the newsroom, Christy Andrews, News Channel 12.
Lots of families have been waiting for this, Christy. In tonight's Fact Check, we take a closer look at the toxic tap water investigation on base. The investigation discovered toxic chemicals were dumped into storm drains from late 1957 until 1987. Those chemicals included dry cleaning solvents and degreasers. The Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry is trying to track down more than 500,000 people who lived on base during that time. So far, more than 181,000 people have been registered, close to 19,000 of them in North Carolina alone.
Investigators are searching for clues in a deadly shooting involving a police officer. Wilson police tell us it began as a response to a domestic dispute and ended with a shootout between the officer and the suspect. Now, this all happened just after midnight this morning on London Church Road outside BMG Metal in Wilson. News Channel 12's Jasmine Spencer has the facts.
Crime scene tape surrounds BMG Supply from an overnight shooting in Wilson. Now, witnesses tell me the suspect deceased is 29-year-old Julius Lucas. Say they were on their way with his girlfriend to the courthouse to discuss custody over their children. Officers tell me Lucas did not have a prior criminal record. Reporting live in the Greenville newsroom, Jasmine Spencer, News Channel 12.
And Jasmine, we know the SBI is looking into that case. No word yet, though, whether the shooter might have been under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
A project to improve drainage finally gets underway a year and a half later. We tell you what's being worked on and the lasting impact intended for a local city. And
a look at James Holmes' mental state before the movie Massacre. Details coming up on World News with Diane Sawyer.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters, tracking a few lingering thunderstorms, and the tropics becoming a bit more active. We'll alert you to what's going on in the South Atlantic next on WCTI News Channel 12.
Checking the facts to get information right. You're watching News Channel 12 with Valentina Wilson, Wes Goforth, and Storm Track 12 Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters. News Channel 12, accurate and reliable.